Hello, good afternoon, welcome back to Trains with David. Just running my little 009 blue battery operated train and seeing if it would manage the new high-sided HO trucks, because they almost look at the right scale compared to the miniature goods wagon, coal wagon and caboose that it comes with. So I put my station and a few buildings, a few vehicles and animals, my telegraph poles and fences. Over in the corner here we've got Rick's Food Market with a couple of 4x4s, and in the corner we have our windmill and trees. So just a very, very simple layout today. I'm going to experiment and see what I can pull. I can pull some high-sided wagons and low-sided wagons. Now, unlike my video of yesterday, this is my HO track, which has a diameter of 62.5 centimeters, unlike the 009 track, which is 42.5 centimeters. So it's a third the size larger, which makes the train run far easier on a wider radius curve. So it pulls those two quite successfully, nice to see. So I've changed a battery in my red 009, we'll give that a try in a moment and see how that gets on. Well, I put just one coach, which just has metal bogies, and I've changed the battery in my red loco, but I was a bit suspicious that it was an old battery, so when it comes round again, even with it slow running, we'll change the battery and see what difference. And then we'll try some high-sided wagons and some lower bogie wagons and see how they do. So, since changing the battery, we can see that the train pulls much stronger and a little bit quicker. Still has this waddling effect. Yeah, good fun. Would it pull two? Who knows? Let's try. Well, here's a nice surprise. We can see that the train is successfully pulling two carriages. How long it would be able to do this, I don't know. Obviously with the extra weight. Now, as this one is plastic from the other train set, do I buy another train set so that I could have, I'd end up with two cabooses, but I'd end up with two wagons, another locomotive and two carriages and a lot more track. So I'm tempted. I will have a look tomorrow and see what's available in my supermarket, Chinese shops and elsewhere. Yeah, so this successfully runs with two carriages. Now they are much lower than the high-sided one here, which is really the correct size for this 009, I think. So here we are running a couple of high-sided wagons. I've just put two on, as this would seem to be a fair load. Now the battery in this has been in quite some time. The red one had been in for 9 months and I had replaced it with what I thought was a new battery, but it was an older battery. So it's time to change this blue locomotive's battery. You can see with 2 trucks. They're not the trucks it would normally come with, but at least it manages to pull them. So I'll try a couple more trucks and see what happens. Well, I've added a 3rd truck, the red one at the back, and we seem to be pulling quite well. These little 009, considering only running on 1 AA battery after many months, do very well, I think. Now I'm tempting fate. I put on an additional truck, the grey one at the back, and we seem to be managing the 4 trucks. So with a new battery, I wonder what else we could do. This is quite amazing, I think, considering the time. Now the only thing, and it should be noticeable, is that with this particular locomotive, close in here, the first truck is lifted up as the height of the pin and the hook are not the same on the engine and the truck. So you can see that the first truck is higher up than it should be. But considering that, we've got a remarkable running of the train and 4 trucks. So now let's swap the engine back to the red one. So here we have my blue 009 pulling 3 bogie wagons. I think we can do a few more. Let's have a look. Much to my surprise, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bogie wagons. And my 009 is struggling, but as it's got a new battery, it is pulling them around. So let's do a flyover here. This is the stock that I've been pulling around today, the high-sided wagons, my new stock, and apart from the coal wagons and the coaches, we've been doing remarkably well. So I think the 009 trains, as long as they've got a reasonably new battery in, they can run very well. I'm very pleasantly surprised. So I need to pull off my backgrounds that I photographed yesterday and I make them into a backdrop scenery which I can wrap around either of my board sizes, my 100 or my 120 length board. I think this will be remarkable. So let's have a look around here. I've deliberately not put too much in the way of buildings and roads out, as this is a country scene, but I just wanted to see how well my 009 trains do on the HO track, pulling more wagons and bigger wagons than they would do on their own 009 track, which is a very tight radius. So I'm pleasantly surprised, and with that we'll say thank you very much for watching and see you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.